Dear brothers and sisters, I welcome you all to hear and see this video message. Today we are going to see challenges of Uniform Civil Code implementation in India. The implementation of Uniform Civil Code across Indian states, it is not easy. It is not required also. Content for this video I given in the description, you can go through and study. It is wrong to say that only the Muslim community is opposing the Uniform Civil Code. The media was not disclosing the fact that opposition is widespread. A false impression is being created that other people minus Muslims are welcoming it. But the truth is that all communities are opposing. If the Hindu undivided family property is touched, entire Hindu communities will be against it. The Hindu undivided family property was discriminatory against women, but it was used for tax evasion only by Hindus and called for ending this practice. But these aspects are not highlighted, and only the issues of polygamy among Muslims, triple talaq and maintenance of divorced Muslim wives are highlighted, and thereby controversy is created. India is a diverse and pluralistic country. Even Hindu laws are not uniformly applicable. Hindu laws have ample provision for customary practices. There are so many exceptions in Hindu laws. The Hindu Code Bill failed to control the prevalent gender discrimination. The law on divorce were framed giving both partners equal voice, but majority of its implementation involved those initiated by men. All the tribal communities have their laws. Some are pro-woman and some are not. And they have local councils, and they will determine what will apply to them and what will not. Various provisions of the constitution protect tribal communities and their land rights. Is a constitution of such diverse customs and practices and customary laws which are very vibrant and followed. How are BJP going to overturn them with a uniform civil code brought in with the particular mindset of the Hindus? It is impossible. The personal laws are listed in the concurrent list of the 7th schedule of the Constitution, and both the center and the states have the power to legislate on them. Given that the law made from the top and its imposition throughout the country would go against the federal structure of the Constitution. Even the Criminal Procedure Code and the Indian Penal Code are not uniformly practiced. Every state has made its amendments. How could BJP have the uniform civil code that is brought out by the center and which will be the thrust upon the states? A common civil code would lead to the dilution of the special privileges that the constitutional guarantees to tribal communities in the northeast. Of India's 8 to 10 crore tribal populations, around 12% of lives in the northeast. These various tribes follow their own laws based on their customs. These special entitlements enshrined in the Article 371 A, B, C, F, G, H and the 6th schedule of the Constitutions allows for a certain degree of autonomy to communities to function under their customary laws. Two articles in the Constitution in fact clearly spell out that Naga and Mizo customary law cannot be overridden by the Union Parliament. In Meghalaya, where the BJP is in alliance with the National People's Party, Party Supremo and Chief Minister Conrad Sangma told Uniform Civil Code is against the actual idea of India. In Nagaland, the BJP is facing opposition from its alliance partner, the National Democratic Progressive Party. Earlier, in a statement on June 29th, the NDBB said that as a political party whose very ideology is to protect the rights, customs and tradition of our people is opposed to the implementation of the Uniform Civil Code. The party said that Indo-Naga political dialogue is at a cultural juncture and it would be unwise to put in place as a law such as a Uniform Civil Code which will have significant consequences on the talks. To introduce a new law that will have a deep impact upon the personal laws of the people will instead create further uncertainty and has the serious potential to threaten the peaceful environment. One Naga group has even issued an open threat to burn down the homes of all 60 MLAs in the state if Modi were to be implement a uniform civil code. In Mizoram, where NDA ally Mizo National Front is in power, a resolution was passed earlier this year by the State Assembly opposing any attempt to implement a uniform civil code. Home Minister Lalcham Layana had said while introducing a resolution that the Uniform Civil Code would disintegrate the country as it was an attempt to terminate the religious or social practices, customary laws, cultures and tradition of the religious minorities including the Mizos. Adivasis in Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh are alarmed that a uniform civil code would dilute the constitutional protection they have to protect their way of life and religion. Similar opposition comes from Agalidal, which feels a uniform civil code would impact the existence of a separate Sikh Marriage Act. Proponents of common civil law see it as a pro-Hindu law, but in reality it harms the rights and customs of the Hindus as well. If this general civil law comes, it will not possible to marry in a relationship like uncle's daughter and sister's daughter. According to the current Hindu marriage law, marriage within the family is prohibited for 3 generations through the wife line and 5 generations through the husband's line. But on the basis of customs and cultural etc., these marriages are allowed to take place within the family. If this uniform civil code is passed, marriages within such clans will be prohibited. If the southern part of India, consanguineous marriages is common among Dravidian Hindus while it is not practiced among the Hindus of northern India. Therefore, making a common civil law for a country like India is a tough task. In Christianity, marriage is the sacrament. It is an aspect of religion. That is why it is called the rite of holy matrimony. A solemn ceremony of marriage must be performed by the appointed priest in the presence of parishioners as prescribed by the Catholic Church. The General Civil Code now recognizes only marriages registered with an officer. So, if the General Civil Law provides for the registration of marriages with an officer such as a registrar, it would mean desecrating a sacred right. 21st Law Commission pointed out that there are significantly different attitudes toward how a uniform between two people is imagined in different religions and try and project one practice as better than the other would pose problems. While in Hindu law, marriage is a sacrament, in Christian law, divorce continued to be stigmatized. In Muslim law, marriage is a contract, and Parsi law, registration of marriage is central to the ritual of marriage. It is important that these different attitudes are respected and not placed in hierarchy, pitting one religious attitude against another, it said. Uniform Civil Code would require a massive exercise of drafting, codifying, harmonizing and rationalizing the various personal laws and practices in India. It would require a wide consultation and participation of various stakeholders, including religious leaders, legal experts, and women organizations, etc. It would also require a robust mechanism of enforcement and awareness to ensure compliance and acceptance of uniform civil code by the people. But for BJP, a uniform civil code is an opportunity to bash minorities and to appeal majoritarian voters. There is a need to examine the purpose of enacting the General Civil Code. The government must not forget that the Republic of India is a democratic country not only for the majority Hindus but also for the minorities such as Muslims, Christians, Sikhs, Buddhist, Parsis, and tribals of various ethnic groups. Our India is a country that is more diverse than any other country in the world in terms of religion, language, race, culture, etc. The duty of the majority is to protect the sacred custom of the minority. Restricting the rights of the minorities cannot be called democracy. Bible talks about personal laws reforms implementation in India. In 2 Chronicles chapter 19 verse 5 to 11. Josaphat went from town to town and appointed judges in each of the fortress of Judah. He told the judges, "Be careful in what you are doing, because you are not judging for people, but for the Lord. He will be with you, and when you make decisions, you must fear the Lord, protect justice, and do what is right, because the Lord our God is fair. He does not treat some people as if they are more important than others, and he does not accept bribes to change his judgments." In Jerusalem, Josaphat chose some of the Levites, priests, and head of the families of Israel to be judges. These men lived in Jerusalem and used the law of the Lord to settle problems among the people. Josaphat commanded them, "You must serve faithfully with all your heart. You must fear the Lord. People from cities around the country will bring their problems to you. You will listen to cases where people have broken a law or a command or maybe killed someone. In all these cases, you must warn the people not to sin against the Lord, so that he will not get angry and punish you and your people." Amariah is the high priest, so he will make the final decision about the people's responsibilities to the Lord. Zebediah, son of Ismail, is the leader of the tribe of Judah, so he will make the final decision about the people's responsibility to the king. The Levites will serve as scribes for you. Be brave and do what is right. May the Lord be with those of you who are good judges. Amen.